Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5-Star Summit for the All-Star Junior Festival 2023. You can check out our site at www.5starnetwork.com. It's a site about all sorts, of course, of wrestling content. We have podcasts, we have articles, we have all sorts of fun stuff. But today we're here to talk about a very specific show with 5 contributors to the 5-Star Network. I'm Kay, I'm an editor and occasional writer for the site, and this will be my first time hosting a podcast. Please be lenient with me. And time for all the others to introduce themselves. So, Dylan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Hi, I'm Dylan. It's nice to be here. I didn't think I was gonna be here. I'm gonna be real. I was worried because I had a long travel day and I didn't get to watch most of the show until very, very recently. And by recently, I mean right now. So I'm happy to be here. I'm a big fan of junior wrestling, obviously. Uh, Everybody knows me for liking Joshi wrestling, but junior wrestling is a close second in my uh personal favorite genres of wrestling. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be with all of my homies to talk about this great show as a part of the 5-Star Network.
Wonderful. Yannick, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Yannick, or Spadoosh, whatever you want to call me. I'm a part of the Dramatic Dream Dragons podcast that I host with Sondre and Dylan Fox of the Lariat. And you can listen to us on the 5-Star Network too.
Wonderful. And our last remaining team member, Dylan Mark II. No.
What's up, everybody? It's Xavi. I write for the 5-Star Network. Me and Dylan actually just launched a series called The Best of Black Wrestling. Check out my article on the GOAT case of Aja Kong. I also have a podcast. It's not on the network because it's not very important, but you can listen to that. That's the Stardust Press podcast, where me and my co-host Beth do practically everything but talk about whatever wrestling show we're reviewing. And junior wrestling, definitely right up my alley. As y'all can probably see, I am the king of greats, as well as I've been writing about Dragon Gate for upwards to 2 years now. And I've also written the starter guide for Gone Pro, so only fitting that I come and do this.
Yeah, that's very reassuring that we have someone with that much experience. Yeah, I personally obviously also really love junior wrestling. Like, Dragon Gate is my favorite promotion for a reason. And, obviously, like, Shun Skywalker is on this show, so I gotta watch it anyways. But can't miss the lore. but yeah, in terms of general opinions of the show, I think it was a really good one. Like, definitely a candidate for show of the year, I'd say, so far. Even though, of course, for me personally, like, looking at the booking, let's say I did not disagree with the stuff Yamato was saying about New Japan's position there.
So there's this fun thing that a lot of viewers probably don't know about. It's called Shinihon Pro Wrest Politics. It's where New Japan doesn't lose to anybody in big league outsiders, except for in like with the Noah thing, they didn't really, point it out as much. But Yamato came straight out the gate and he said, this is just New Japan trying to big league the smaller companies. You only call on companies like Dragon Gate when it's convenient for you. And although it wasn't storyline, he's not necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
I think I noticed it most in the, and you're gonna hate this, Davey. In the show match, I'm just like, he could have just lost. Let's be real here. He just got hit with 5 finishers.
Yeah. I mean,
No, that wasn't happening.
Not happening. I was like, there's no way they did that.
No,
That's
the
crazy.
thing is, like, Show personally probably would have just lost. He probably
He
wouldn't
would have.
have.
He would have.
Yeah.
New Japan's just like, nah, we can't do that. I don't care what all you hit him with. He's not losing to these indie jobbers. I'm not.
I think I noticed it with the Bone Soldier just hitting the knee on Skywalker after he did all the work to get the win.
Yeah, I do think like the wrestlers definitely did their best to not like bury their opponents, right? Like with
Yeah.
Sho, like he made pretty clear that he was about to lose that match, or Ishimori like made pretty clear in that match that like Shun would have won it, like if he hadn't made the mistake of trusting him.
I feel like deep down, the New Japan wrestlers feel so bad that they can't lose because like Sho took
I
Yeah.
hope
literally
so.
9 finishers. He let Ram do a crossbody, and like honestly, keeping it a buck, there's like probably like 65% of male wrestlers who like wouldn't have let that happen to them. Shows like, yeah, I'll take like everything. Ishimori is like, I'm not even gonna wrestle half this match. This is y'all. Y'all do y'all. Even Hiromu was like, I'll work the opener. I don't care.
He just want to do comms, man. He just want to do comms.
But yeah, like I do think that's that was a definite plus also for Hiromu, right? Like this was his show, but like he didn't make it all about him. He didn't put himself in the main event. That's something I definitely respect.
Yeah, totally. Um, I think we could talk about this a little bit more later, but about how we feel the card could have ended up and how it did end up. Because I feel
Yeah.
like was
Mhm.
it Keno who made a card
And it
out
was
of
like
like
a
these
thousand
wrestlers,
times
Yeah,
and
better
yeah,
it was
than
infinitely
this.
better. Yeah, like this is a
yeah.
good card, but like I was like they had a lot of people on this card, and there was a lot of things they could have done with it. They went
Mhm.
with this. I thought it was a good show. Obviously, we'll get into it, but I think that'll be a good conversation to have about what different combinations you would have preferred to see, or what you were happy that you
Yeah.
know happened instead of alternatives.
Well,
Hmm.
like you said, we'll get into that later, but also probably just taking it with the fact that it's the very first one and they are already
True.
planning to do more. So
Hmm.
I'm not gonna be too because like even with like when New Japan and Noah first started working together after like years of New Japan just being absolute terrible people to every other company, uh like the first card wasn't nothing spectacular, and then like this year they came back with a better card, and then they forlayed that into a greater card at the Muto Tokyo Dome show. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it could be a lot better, but maybe it'll lead to more in the future.
Yeah. This show must have been politics hell.
Oh, 100%.
Oh god, dude!
Yeah, like that.
Anytime you're dealing with New Japan, it's politics hell. Like if it was every other company other than New Japan, like everybody probably would at least got one win.
No, no. Noah tried to big league Dragon Gate too
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
last
that
year.
one
And,
time.
and then like we also gotta talk like they somehow had to get Great and Dragon Gate on the same show, so that was also a thing.
That I think that was the most interesting thing
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
initially to me was
Yeah.
like how the smaller companies interact. Because like you think about it, someone like Taka Michinoku being in a wrestling match with a 2AW wrestler is not supposed to happen
yeah, it's not.
in this day and age.
It
Um,
probably shouldn't.
and I was like, huh, that's wild. This is just happening right now.
Yeah, that's definitely admirable. But like speaking, since we already spoke about the card, let's talk about the match that was not originally announced to be on the card, but I think definitely surpassed the the expectations we might have had upon seeing it, and that is the pre-show match between Kazuma Sumi, Soma Watanabe, Yo versus Akira Jumonji, Fuminori Abe, and Ryo Hoshino. And
uh,
yeah,
no, go ahead.
go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was so happy to see Fuminori Abe on this card because he's the best junior
Yes.
heavyweight in the world. So like he had to be on this card at some capacity. Like it's not even a discussion. He's probably the best wrestler in the world if I'm going like straightforward. And so I'm so
I
glad that he got
agree.
in last second. I usually the way I approach Yo matches is the best expectations to have is no expectations because either he's gonna, show up or he's just gonna be Yo that I expect to see. So, but I'm also glad Soma got here. Although, it probably should have been Czech Shimatani because he under Lindemann, he's probably the best junior they have. But I'm cool with Soma being here. It's always cool to see JTO people on these like big shows like this because I mean JTO is a very, very small company, and a lot of these wrestlers are like maybe 2 to 3 years in. Like JTO's only been around like maybe 3 years, so it's
Mhm.
cool to see Akira Jumanji in here with with like Yo, who's in New Japan. So it's like it's fun. I like the aspect of the bigger wrestlers mingling with the indie guys.
Hmm.
I was at work when this whole thing happened, but then I saw on Twitter that Fuminori Abe was there, even though like nobody expected him to be. And I was pretty mad beforehand, to be honest. But then he is in this match, and even with Kazuma Sumi,
Hmm.
obviously my DDT boy, and he did pretty well. But to be honest, of all these six guys, I'm probably most impressed with Akira Chumonji. I've never
Yeah.
seen or even heard from him before.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think all of the rookies definitely impressed me a lot in this match. Even though I didn't know a lot of them, and also I also would not have said no to Shimatani if he had been in this match. But like I especially also liked what Sumi did. I had heard that he was from the Dragon system before, but it didn't really click until I saw like his super
He did the
lucha
smart.
style.
He did the smart thing. He saw that he was in the same class with Kaito Nakano, and when he saw how good he was, he just
He saw Yoshiki Kato. He said, "I got to get out of here, man.
I gotta get out of
This is the
here.
guy right here. I ain't got no chance."
But
I,
yeah,
oh, sorry. I really liked Sumi's output. I thought that he looked great for being not very far into his career. I feel like I just saw
Yeah,
him debut last year.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah.
I thought he did great. Like he really shined, and like you said, his 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 style and just his gear looked like I was like, what company is this dude from? Like I don't know. And then I was like, oh, I saw him in DDT. That makes a lot more sense because I was like, he looks like he would be wrestling somewhere else.
yeah, his style is like very distinct in that sense.
Yeah.
The best part about this match is that I now have a topic to talk about with Abe when it comes to Germany next week.
Oh yeah. Tell him I'm glad he got on the show, man.
Yeah, I
Look,
will. I will.
I also love the reaction of the crowd because like they said it was like a mystery vortex style card, but if you looked at the card on New Japan, it was literally like the exact same order. So like whenever like the music hit, I love the fans' reactions. Like when Abe's hit, like oh, it was great. I was happy.
He was so over.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was like I definitely did like this match a lot. Like it wasn't obviously mind blowing, but for what it was, I really liked it.
It set the
Um,
tone for the rest of the night, which most opening matches in companies should do. Like it said a lot in Dragon Gate that the opening match is the most important match on the card because it's going to set the tone for how the night's going to go. So I think that's what it kind of did here because it set up for a really really fun night. And plus, this was a sold out crowd and they were into it from the jump, so it was great.
yeah, it was awesome. I really liked seeing, Korakuen Hall at full volume and full capacity. It was wonderful. And I think that's also something that really stuck out in the next match, like
Hmm.
the actual opening match, which was Amakusa Fujita Hayato Jr. And Hiromu Takahashi versus Hayata, Kazuki Hashimoto, and of course, Yamato. To remark here, not the good babyface Yamato. He made very clear that Yamato was boycotting at home, like he said. That was an incarnation of him, evil Yamato, not the same Yamato.
This dude's
That was crazy.
insane.
That was crazy. Everybody was like, "Oh, he got the eyeliner on. That's crazy."
He came out with a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's narcissist Yamato. It's not like babyface Dragon Gate Ace Yamato.
Did a little bit of Greek mythology and was like, "I like this one. I like this one. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the beard."
This match was so good. Not even the worst wrestler in the world, Hayata, could ruin this.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
Actually,
actually, I'll take that back. I would take him over El Phantasmo like any day of the week. So, anyway,
I don't think he's that bad. He's just like 4 out of 10 in every category.
listen, I don't know, man. Hayata's a character, but this match was a lot of fun. I love the fact that Fujita Junior Hayato got the last entrance. It was perfect, and this whole match
Yes.
was literally the Fujita Junior Hayato show, as it should be. Love Hayato. But with that being said, everybody got equal chance to shine in this match, especially Kazuki Hashimoto from BJW. They gave him a lot of chance to shine in there.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
found it very funny that that Vegeta came out in a shirt.
Yeah.
He wrestled in a shirt. He got the fall, and then he went outside and he got Keno's handshake, and I was like, damn, he did all that in a shirt. That's crazy. He did that Bushi style.
It's probably cold in Corkin, bro.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the stuff Amax and Hiromu did as a team. Of course, they just had their match in Tokyo Dome. It was a lot of fun. Amax is so good. Like, I know I just said Abe is like the best junior heavyweight in the world, but like he's also probably the best wrestler in the world. Like, if I had to pick anybody else, it'd probably be Amaxa right now because his output
Totally.
since he's came back from Mexico has just been unreal. Like, he's single-handedly been the savior of Noah's junior division since he's come back.
Yeah, he's definitely an absolute highlight. And I liked that, that Hayato and Amaxa, I think, were the highlights wrestling wise, and like Yamato and Hiromu took care sort of the character angle. Like, those two fucking with each other. So
I think it's odd, that Hiromu, I guess it just shows how much that he wanted to showcase everybody else, that he was probably the least remarkable person in this match. And that's saying something with Hayata here. He like took a real genuine step back and let everybody get their stuff in.
Yeah, that was really nice. I also like the little post-match section he had, like where the various wrestlers just called him back in again. And of course, he did agree to do a Dragon Gate show for Yamato rematch.
He also agreed to have his singles match with Fujita Junior Hayato, who's been asking for it since his return. Also, cool. I'm glad that we got shoot headbutts in the opener of this card. I was like, oh yeah, we're rocking tonight, baby. CTE City, we're here. But go ahead.
How are we feeling about the reunion between Hiromu and Amakusa? I want them to tag more. I thought like they did like 2 tag spots together, and I was like, I like this. Give me more. I know they know each other. Give me more.
I mean, juniors in New Japan and Noah are just like a lost spot, so it's kind of hard to get excited for it.
Yeah, that's true.
One, it's hard to care when they're in 2 companies who realistically don't value junior heavyweight wrestling as much as they should, with the talent they have and the history they have. But I'll say it again when we get to the main event. But if like New Japan genuinely wanted to do good and get other juniors from other companies involved in their junior tournaments, it would benefit a lot. Like, you could have, especially now that Bushi and Titan are a team, if you do like junior tag league. I mentioned on Twitter that I would get Wado away from Taguchi and have him call up Atsuki for whenever they do that and team up with him in junior tag league. You could do the same here with Hiromu and Amaxa reforming Tokyo Tornado for that. It's just a matter of if New Japan wants to do it and if they're just going to big league everybody, which is always probable. Yeah. I'm glad Hayato got the win here. And of course, did y'all watch it in English and Japanese or Japanese commentary? I know when I watched live it was Japanese commentary, but I
watched Japanese commentary.
Yeah,
I watched English.
Yeah, when I was watching it back, I had to watch English because there was no Japanese commentary, and we literally have a reunion with Hayato and Kano going on, and they're over here talking about the Mandalorian, and I just want to turn.
Yeah, it was kind of sad, to be honest.
I just want to.
Who was
I already knew what I was getting into when I was rewatching it. When Kevin Kelly's first words was, "I don't know half of these people." I was like, oh,
yeah, and also the completely no selling Yoshino on commentary.
Yeah, like, I think these guys know who they are. You mean Milano Collection AT and Masato Yoshino?
Yeah, I mean, Chris did what he could, but like Kevin Kelly just
Chris is spotty for me, but he tries whenever he needs to. But it was a really fun opener. I actually expected this match to be the main event when the cards were first announced. But, I'm glad it opened.
Yeah, definitely. I think it got the crowd going really well. The match
great
that came
for Kazuki Hashimoto, just.
Yeah, definitely. The match that came after that was, also an interesting case, I'd say. We already talked about that one a little booking-wise. That was Isami Kodaka and Mao versus Onryo and Sho. This match... the finish aside,
this match was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah. The finish aside, like, that was like a very fun sort of shenanigans match that I really liked. I liked that Rem got her spots in. I liked, though, that Onryo got to have a little character arc. with the show situation was very neat, and obviously like Mao brought some great stunts. It's a good match.
Although I do kind of, I mean, like I said, Show probably would have just lost. It'd been fine. Like it
Yeah,
legitimately, Show would have been like totally fine with just losing. But I
yeah.
understand he's like the only New Japan Junior that's a heel that actually knows how to be a heel and get reactions. So I understand why they kind of want to protect him and use him to their own advantage whenever they're trying to get a younger babyface junior over, like further on down the line this year. But you know, he still probably could have lost. Even then, Amario could have lost, and they could have just not did the whole angle. But I'm glad it turned out how it did. It was a lot of fun. I will say, the backstage comments of this show is probably the greatest wrestler in New Japan Pro Wrestling history. This dude's comments were, "Junior Festival, what is this? I'm the only one deserving of it. How many of these jobbers did you pat this tournament with? This is the best wrestler to ever do it, man." I'm glad Mal got to shine a lot here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show gave Mal a lot. That's all. That's what we were talking about. How we were like the New Japan wrestlers probably felt like so bad when they were trying to format these matches because they know their company like won't let them lose, so
Yeah.
they're just giving everything they can to these guys, and that's what Show did here with Mao. And I'm glad Usami Kadaka's around whenever I get to see him. Although you know there's probably better options in Basra. But also fun to see Ram here and Ram get a spot. You know, she was
Yeah.
the only woman on the card, and she was able to get involved and stand tall at the end, so that was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big pop for Ram. Big pop for the chairman. I was happy.
Yeah.
I named the team of Anrio and Show comically evil because they are
That's
it,
that's
like
good.
that's just it. That's just it. And they were so comically evil that Show was too evil for Anrio. You know, the undead zombie that has powder all
Yeah,
over his face.
yeah,
Too evil for that.
yeah. That
He
has
and
cocaine flying from his
yeah,
head, man.
like
You know?
somehow Show was just too much of an asshole that even Anrio couldn't deal with it. And then yeah,
Uh,
everybody hitting their shot on Show was great. And obviously the first thing I saw from the show when I woke up yesterday morning was Ram doing the crossbody. And
yeah,
I popped big for it. So I was really happy that she got that. I think 666, even though I've never seen a show because I don't know where to find a show.
it's an
Uh
interesting company, but
It's
yeah,
on
I
it's
enjoy
on
it.
Nico
they're
Nico. I
fun.
think they have some of their stuff.
Nico was the worst thing to happen to Piro. I was just talking about last night.
Yeah.
Like everybody should just like use YouTube or like Takagi should like throw them Russell Universe deals because Nico sucks. Anyway,
Oh god, yeah, like I remember, you know, my time sort of searching for old Dragon Gate matches there, and then like, and me having to manually enter the year because like the video pages hit the cap, and so they just didn't show the old videos anymore, even though they were still there. And Jesus Christ.
yeah, no, um,
I
Af-
have Alex tackle Nico for me. I don't even touch it.
that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, what is Alex doing anyway? So he can tackle Nico. Afterwards, Sami was like, "Oh, if you want to use like weapons, we should have like a death match." And
Yeah, sure,
I
it's
will
just like, nope.
somehow buy a Basra show if they can convince Yujiro to do a death match.
Yes. And
great.
Isami is
will
a
do-
legend for his death matches.
He will do one bump and roll out the ring and let Show take everything.
Yeah, I'm just happy Kodaka was here. As I said, he's a legend in this business, especially with his deathmatch stuff. He has slowed down a lot, though.
Yeah. Yuko Miyamoto is definitely the better of the Yankee Nikontenju team.
Yeah,
And-
and even Yuko is not what he was.
And even still, yeah, he's put out a lot more better stuff recently than Osamu Kodaka. But and also
Yeah.
from Basra, I feel like there were better options like Yasuo Rano was there, Daiki was there. I feel like there was other options, but I mean,
Fuminori Abe.
well, he just left, so he's freelance.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but you know, Isami being here makes sense, and it made for a fun time because, of course, he's like super over amongst the fans. Like, and that was prevalent here, so I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. It was definitely nice to see who the people cheered for in these matches. And, you know, the next match, of course, was a bit of a special match, of course, in honor of Shigeru Otani, you know, since he's kind of still going through tough times with his injury. And it, you know, was a 10-man tag match between Jin Kasai, Minoru Tanaka, Taka Michinoku, Tatsuhito Takaiwa, sorry, Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Chicharito Shoki, I probably did not pronounce that correctly, Kota Sekifuda, Leona Musashi, and Shoki Kitamura. And yeah, I think like for me personally, because I'm famously not someone who's super invested in like wrestling history, like I did not know a lot of these guys, but I think the sense of support for a different wrestler who could not be present at this event sort of in the way he maybe should have been able to if the world was just. I think that was a nice sense that was conveyed in this match.
Yeah, I really wish we would stop trying to make Leona a thing, but nepotism. But
Yeah,
no,
but I don't think I've ever seen a Leona match. I know
yeah,
he's
you don't
the
need to.
son of
You
Fujinami.
you
Why
really
is
don't
all
need
the
to.
hate? Is it
You
just so bad?
Yeah, honestly, it's not even the fact that like he's not as good as his dad because that's like a tough ask. It's
Yeah.
just legitimately that he's terrible.
Okay.
No, but I'm glad Musashi's here. Musashi's the man. I was so hyped when Musashi got announced for this. I was like, y'all
Yeah,
give me
he
like all
deserves
these
it.
all these Musashi singles matches that of course didn't happen. But but also this veteran team, it couldn't be more for me. Minoru Tanaka, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Takaiwa. I was rocking. I was happy
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
Takaiwa got the win, so I was like, yeah, now we get to hear his banger theme song. Let's go.
I will say that I think this is the match, and obviously you can't really say it because of the fact that it's for a good cause and it's like it
Mhm.
has meaning to it. This is the match where like you see so much of that talent that it's like, damn, they could have gone there and they could have gone there. Like
Yeah, no.
you could have had a Minoru Tanaka match against
Yeah. He's
anybody, and that would have been dope. Obviously,
him
a lot of
and
people.
Kanemaru are probably still two like top 5 juniors in all of
Yeah, I
wrestling.
mean, dude, don't
Ooh,
get me
I don't
started on
know.
Kanemaru. Kanemaru
Yeah.
like just randomly blows the hell up. Like he got that really great match out of TJP a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Oh, dude, they should
Um,
give him a Nobel Peace Prize for that, man.
dude,
Yeah.
for real. Like, but and then obviously they had later on they had Volador Jr. and Desperado tag after Fantastica Mania. But I think everybody kind of wants to see Jun Kasai and Desperado do something, whether
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
together
absolutely.
or opposite sides. And I think that's kind of where this match lies for me. It had some good stuff in it, obviously,
Mhm.
but there was definitely a case of like, damn, I really wish I could have saw Minoru Tanaka in a match with like, I don't know, like like
Yeah.
anybody else. Not to be mean, but because the other side did pretty well on their own, but
I
this is that
appreciate
match that was leaving me wanting more. I think.
Jun Kasai pulling out the skewers, putting
Oh yeah,
skewers in Koda's Sekifuda's head, and then as the match ends, you just turn to the camera and Minoru Tanaka's grabbing the skewers and like twisting them in Koda's
dude,
Sekifuda's
Tanaka's
head.
out for blood. He came out with a fork. I was like, why has he got a fork, man?
Because he
It was
took it from
Kasai's fault.
Kasai, and he just tried to use it.
Yeah, that little joke I think was honestly the best part of the match for me. The joke that like a whole bunch of these guys wanted it to be a death match, but it wasn't actually a death match.
I'm so happy that Takaiwa got the spot that he got,
Yeah.
because he is, for me, the perfect grumpy old veteran.
Oh, for sure. Not only
Like
that,
his.
it's like fitting that he gets the win in this match.
Oh yeah,
Longtime
absolutely.
tag partner of Shinjiro Otani,
Oh
first
yeah,
IWGP Junior
absolutely.
Tag Champs. So,
Mhm.
But like this old man can still go.
oh yeah,
He
Like
threw
I,
a good clothesline, bro.
yeah,
He's so
like watch all his stuff that he did in Gumpro
oh yeah,
with the title. He was the inaugural Spirit of Gumbray champion, and it was honestly perfect
yeah.
what
Him
he did
versus
there.
Tominaga was probably my favorite junior match last
Oh
year. It was
yeah,
so good,
that was
um,
amazing.
just so good. Also, Takaiwa's backstage comments were very heartwarming. He's like, I'll be waiting in the ring for you, Otani, and I was just like, ah man,
Aw.
I love old people.
Well, we all have our preferences with that. But with the people who prefer, for the people who prefer the younger wrestlers, we have the next match, which was a three-way tag team match between, of course, as we mentioned, El Desperado
wait,
and
wait, no,
Volador
no, you're
Jr.
missing one. You're missing one.
Hmm?
You're Didn't
My brain tried to protect me.
It's funny.
My
It's
brain,
like I skipped a match that is next.
I love the fact that we're like for
my brain tried to protect me.
I like the fact that we're like, all right, for fans of the younger wrestlers, and then we mention like 40-year-old elder.
That's why I was laughing. I was like, I don't think this is for them, bro.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just tried to skip over the next match without anyone noticing, and tried to
No,
think of the
no.
That's
first
great.
thing I could. No, okay. The actual next match was a six-man tag team match between Hikaru Sato, Ryosuke Taguchi, Yumehito Imanari, and their opponents, Button, blah blah. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Great Sasuke and Tiger's Mask, who is of course very distinct from Tiger Mask.
Yeah, because he's good. So it's good. This was cinema. That's all I need to
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Dog.
this match, yeah. Like, I think for me, like, the good thing, like, with this match is sort of, I started watching wrestling with ODDT, so I'm a bit calloused, and I think sort of this match was for me, it thankfully, like, did not completely jump over the line that some of the pheromones matches, for instance, do.
This
Like, it
match
was,
needed to
yeah.
happen, or this would have just been a New Japan show. This was the distinct. This is not New Japan match of the night.
Yeah, when it was announced, I was just so happy that Imanari got on the show.
Yeah, me too.
And then they made their entrance, and
Pervert Hikaru Sato.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
no,
we're
no,
here, baby.
Sato is great in this,
Yeah.
but come on.
I'm
mean,
telling y'all, the Virgin Killer fit go hard. I'm gonna be real. Even on the dudes, it goes hard.
Yeah.
Taguchi usually is like one of the most unfunny wrestlers I watch, but here he was great. He worked off everybody so well. So, and I love Sasuke because like great Sasuke is Sasuke, and he's trying to do his spots, and like the dress trio are like, nah, man, you gotta stop this. This meditation is going over the line.
Yeah, this match was amazing. Like, I think like I should have been prepared when I saw that they used the naked Sato render for the card.
Would anyone like to describe the like finishing stretch of this match?
I don't
Um,
remember.
That's all you.
A human centipede happened.
Yeah.
Um,
So Imanari cheeks out, sitting on top rope. I think it's I want to say Sasuke's in his face first in his ass, and somebody sitting in the corner. I want to say it's Tiger's Mask, and then I want to say it's Taguchi who like face plants like right in the Tiger Mask's crotch or vice
Yeah.
versa, and then it's up to Botany and Sato. Then Sato just wins with a shoot arm bar. That's beast. Shouts out Hikaru Sato.
Like, I mean, he's always been a man who can do both, He can be a catboy mate, and he can be a shoot star.
You know what's
Dude was
really funny?
trained- This dude was trained by Minoru Suzuki. This is Suzuki's
No,
favorite
that's
wrestler
the
right
thing.
here.
That's the funny thing is that like I had to write about like a preview for this card the other day, and like admittedly I haven't seen a lot of Hikaru Sato, and I was just trying to get it done quickly, and I was like, oh, they got a dude that was trained by Pancrase here? That's crazy. And then I saw the match, and I was like, oh, that's
Dude.
interesting. And then I read the description, and I was like,
Dude,
what do you mean by that?
he
And then I
works at
watched the match. I
he
like started
works
the match.
at
I was like,
Pile
this is
Driver.
crazy.
This is Suzuki's
This is
favorite
crazy.
guy right here, man.
Hikaru Sato is legitimately one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Like I was just like, it was a constant state of like, oh, this is different from what I expected, and it just continued down the line of that.
He's a
for
hentai
days.
pro wrestler. They told you.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, like, I still have some of those old DVDs where like he and Nakazawa are then like fishnet stockings and like sexy short dresses. He's an amazing guy. I
So this
just
is
gotta
all
say.
right. So I'll go ahead and get out of the way. This is my match of the year so far. Anyway,
Yeah, it was in its own way. It was absolutely incredible. Now, to the three-way tag team match between El Desperado and Volado Jr. I just gotta say, El Desperado he's young in my heart. Versus Lindaman and Yuki Ueno. Ueno. I always say it wrong because all the English speakers say it wrong. Ueno. Versus, of course, the Paros team of Doki and Tanaoka. And I really liked that match. It was like a neat, so very fast-paced match with a lot of really cool spots.
I have a lot of unnecessary knowledge about this match. I have to imagine Volador was in this because they whatchamacallit, they wanted people who speak Spanish, and Desperado, Hanaoka, and
Oh yes,
Doki
Yuki
all
Ueno.
speak Spanish. Well, Yuki Uno, they could bring Uno along, and Lindemann spent some time. I don't think he spent some time in Mexico. He was just part of the Millennials, but for the most part, there were some people who spoke Spanish, so they could put this match together rather nice. So Hanaoka and Doki, of course, Japones Del Mal, they are the Japanese branch of Peros Del Mal. They were actually
I completely I confused their names. Fucking hell. Thank you for correcting me.
They were actually personally endorsed by Pero Aguayo Jr. alongside Ito Kobayashi in his first excursion to Mexico.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they're like, and that time is very, very important to them, and that's why they're happy to be in the spot. Like even Doki still uses the Japones Del Mal name, and Doki takes like great offense to it, and they want to represent Pero, right? Because like Pero's Ito's idol, and Doki like has great respect for him, and so does Hanaoka. Like that's why Doki took offense to when Noah from Peros Del Mal de Japón, and he was just like, well, no Sal, what are you doing? Only me, you, and Ida have the right in Japan to use that name. Who is this Yohei guy? And but Volador Jr., I absolutely love whenever he tries. There was like a couple year period where he just stopped caring and started wearing like a bodysuit.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It was the dark days, man.
I will not have bodysuit slander.
No, bro. Listen,
not at all biased here, by the way.
Listen, Volador Jr. was bald and had a bodysuit. He just didn't care.
Okay.
He just gave up.
He looked bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
admittedly, bald and bodysuit is a combo.
And I got to get this in. My man L. Lindemann out here, hot dog style, fresh off the 7-Eleven hot dog roller, tan as hell. You already know.
Also, I looked it up. El Lindemann did wrestle in the Crash with Strong Hearts a few times. So
Okay,
no.
yeah.
I did.
I think they were set up for an excursion type of thingy, but then the pandemic hit.
Yeah. I personally, I thought that Japones de Mal showed out. I'm a big Doki guy.
I think they were the MVPs of this match. Hanaoka was
100%.
so good here.
And
He
like
was
that's
so hilarious.
Someone who El Desperado is my favorite wrestler, like my favorite male wrestler by far. So
It's actually Jay White, and he's lying, but that's fine.
Be easy. He had a half of a good match with Eddie Kingston. That's it. But no, I thought that they really showed out. Like I said, I'm a big Doki guy. During this match, I was watching it, and I was like, they should put the strap on Doki. Like why not? Why not? Like he could be a transition.
Yeah, why
like
not?
it doesn't matter. Like I mean, now that him and Desperado are separated, he's the top junior in his faction, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, Yoshinobu Kanemaru doesn't really give a fuck. He's just trying to drink. So
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. I thought they did great. Yuki Ueno did great. I think I just said that wrong. I apologize, but we were just talking about that. But no, I thought everybody did great, and it was really, really fun. This is my first genuinely this is a match that was really good on this card. Even though a lot of people really like the first match of the main show, I thought this was a step above, and then from here it kind of just kept going on that level. As long as we didn't talk about
I agree. This was really good. Like
to me, this match never really got going.
I feel like that
I didn't feel it
a show issue in a certain way, because I feel like that happened with most of the good matches, where it's
or as they were
the
getting
five-way.
going, it ended.
Yeah.
Same with the 5-way. I was like, oh, you could have given this 3 more minutes and would have really hit its stride. But then it just kind of stopped a bit roughly. I feel like that's kind of what happened here. But I thought this one had a bit more legs to it. It was built off that early going. I thought the early going was good enough.
Of course,
Hanaoka. is
That dude's
great.
hilarious.
I
Yeah,
I
it was
was like,
amazing.
I don't think I've ever watched him, or I probably have
No,
because
I
he
mean
was mentioned his name.
he wrestles in secret base, and watching their shows is kind of like hard.
Yeah.
He was an Ultimo Dragon gym guy, but it was Toymon Mexico, like back in 2006.
So yeah,
So
he hasn't
probably
been in
around the
any
same time as Kazu, I think.
he wasn't in any
Um,
companies that I've
yeah,
watched, deeply. So yeah, I haven't seen him before. Um, Actually, it's funny because I was thinking, what the hell is Secret Base? When I first read,
it's legitimately a secret base. Like
yeah,
they just
when I
have
first
shows. Like
when I first read like the card, I was like, okay, so what is that company? I'm interested, and I still don't know. That's the beauty of it.
that's the beauty of it. You're not going to see another Hannah
Yeah.
Oka match till they do another one of these. So it's
Exactly.
good.
Yeah, I
And he's
think
great.
the
He's great. I thought it was good.
I think the only thing I know about Secret Base is that like one of their wrestlers made it into I think the Tokyo Sport. I don't know if it was the Tokyo
Yes,
Sports or
yes,
the
yes.
Weekly
Yeah,
Pro
yeah,
Wrestling
I know what
Yeah,
you're
Awards, but
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's
And
like I
everybody's like,
think
what the
that's
hell is Secret Base?
yeah. That is pretty impressive, and yeah, he definitely did a great job here. I thought he was really really charming.
And you know what's funny? When I looked at this match, I predicted the exact finish. What was going to happen? I was like, yeah. I was like, that's Rado probably putting Hannah Oka here.
Aw. But yeah, I think like a finisher that was maybe a bit harder to predict was the next match, which was an 8-man tag team match, a match between a lot of masked wrestlers, I'd say.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna be forced to say a lot of Mexican names, and I'm gonna mispronounce them. Alejandro, Pelican Kid, Gurukun Mask, and Mystico versus Atlantis Junior, Blackman Sore, Bushi, and Dragon Kid, of course. And yeah, I think with this match, I think there were like still some pretty awesome spots and some fun comedy, but like it didn't stick out as much to me as like some of the other stuff. But I did like it. I did like it for what it was.
Every match that Gurukun Mask works is by definition
Exactly.
great.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he was super fun in this.
We had Gurikin Mask, Black Mensore, Mystico, and Atlantis Jr. in a match. This is the greatest match of all time. If you ask me. I'm giving this one 6 stars.
It was really fun, I think.
Yeah, I
I love Bushi's like I just can't coexist
Dude,
with
Yeah.
anybody
straight
other
up.
than Lij. Like straight up,
the
I just don't
second.
like people.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he for weeks now, he's been wearing like Shun style masks. He's been begging to be put into a match with Shun.
Yes.
And he was
they
just
put
like,
him with,
nah.
and they just put him with Dragon Kid. Like I'm sorry, but I would be frustrated as well.
You could just
Hiromu
see the
looked
look on Bushi's face. He's just like, I fucking hate luchadors, man. Why am I here, bro?
Hiromu looked at Bushi. Hiromu was like, "Yeah, Bushi, what you want to do?" He's like, "Yeah, team with Shun would be pretty cool." It's like, "All right, dog, you can be teaming with Black Mensore, Atlantis Jr., and you face Billy Kid and Gurikin
You know any of
Mask."
these people? No? Good.
He's like, well, "That's how it's gonna be." Oh no, it was a lot of fun. I love everybody involved, so
Yeah.
I had no problem with it.
I feel like Dragon Kid is the guy that like I always see and I'm always like, I need to see more of this guy, and then I don't. And then like 6 months later I see another Dragon Kid match, and I'm just like, this guy's fucking amazing.
He's
And then
also like
I miss him again.
every Joshi wrestler's favorite wrestler. So
Yeah, that too. That's
Yeah.
that's how I found out about him, was Mayu being like, yeah, that's a goat right there.
And
I
I
was
mean,
like, wow.
it's understandable. Like I think like both his personality, his style, it's all super compelling. Like he
Yeah.
is honestly both the most acrobatic and the cutest 47-year-old I've ever seen. To be
yeah,
honest.
100%.
yeah. I also love that he's like the chosen person to be picked on in Dragon Gate and has been throughout
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Like when
Aw.
Masato Yoshino retired, he was like, "There's 2 reasons I'm retiring. 1, I have a really bad neck. 2, I really need to get away from Dragon Kid."
Leave me alone.
It's so cute because he tries to like hug people and cuddle with people.
And they're like, "Get
And then-
away, dude."
Yeah,
I
but
think-
how can you team with somebody you just know that your unit gets dissolved?
Yeah,
Aw.
So sad.
He's just very clingy. He's like that one person who gets a little bit of affection or all in. So-
Yeah. Sad? Yes. Fun? Also.
So
Mystico's
cute.
like a god in Cork and Hall. I don't know if anybody notices this, but like Mystico's like a god, and like as soon as he came through the curtain, it's just like This dude's such a star.
Yeah.
Has been for like decades, except for that one time WWE gave him shitty lighting and it was terrible on WWE 12. But um,
Never
but
forget
that
Sin Cara Negro.
talk about man Unico. We could have
with
had
the
him
with the
here.
tricycle, man, with the tricycle.
Camacho, he's in New Japan. We could have both of them here,
Ape
man.
shit, bro. Ape shit, man. Need that
I
reunion.
But I need
I
to see
think it's
more
also
Atlantis
fun that
Junior.
yeah, like he just yeeted over that top rope.
Oh yeah, Atlantis Jr. was one of those guys. I said this before we started recording. He's one of those guys where it's like, is that guy a junior? Because compared to
Yeah,
everybody
dude's
else,
just
he looked like a
beefy.
fucking giant. I was like, what the like? And then I looked it up. It's like, oh, he's like 180 pounds. You know, he's
Talk, no
well
way.
under. You know, and I'm just like, that's not how that works. That's crazy.
No,
Dude is
like his
big.
upper body is just like gigantic. He does not look like a junior. He's got the Suji Kondo effect where it's like this guy is not a junior. I don't care what y'all saying.
Yeah, he's 190 pounds. So I was like, but he's 6 foot tall and he's like
Oh, okay, that
got a
makes
big upper body.
yeah.
So I mean, it was the same with Mao early on. I was like, compared to Show, Mao just looks like a giant. Like even though he's
Yeah.
not, he just looked huge. And there are certain people on this card because it's an all junior card. Some of them just look like big dudes,
Yeah,
even though
like
they are
massive.
not at all. Because
They're
that's
realistically they're
compared.
like maybe 6'5", 5'11", and
Yeah.
they were like giants.
Exactly.
Also like that we haven't lost a single word about Alejandro. Even though I
Aw,
think
I
he's
no.
forgot Alejandro
he's
was
really
here.
good. He's really good. He
He's
just
good.
has
Yeah,
no
he's a
charisma
talented.
whatsoever.
Listen,
Aw.
dog. Listen, dog. Listen. I just watched him get bitched out to Ida and Ogawa for a month,
That's true.
and then lose the big title match. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you want from me.
Who is
don't-
Ita?
I don't know what you want from me. This dude, they just made him look like a buster.
The only thing worse, uh, the worst thing is that because he's unique in Noah because he has a mask.
Yeah.
He just lost all of that in this match
Yeah.
because it's a masked man match. You
Yeah,
know, and
and
he's a good
I think the
wrestler.
problem also
but-
lies in like you look at the rest of these mask guys, they are charismatic as hell, and they're just a
Yeah.
step above him in the ring. Granted, I don't think he's been wrestling too long. Like I know he debuted in Wrestle One. I don't think he's been wrestling like too long. But it's just everybody else is
He
like super
debuted in 2016.
Yeah, see, so not that long, but like everybody else is just super charismatic, which he still
Yeah.
hasn't figured out quite
Hmm.
yet, and everybody in ring wise is just a step above him, although he can get to where
He's good.
everybody else is. No, he's like fine, but it's just like everybody else is a step ahead, and that's why he didn't really stand out in this match, sadly.
Poor thing.
But no, he's still good though. Before we get in the next match, I'm glad that
Yeah.
you mentioned Alejandro because I mean it'd be remiss to not mention it since this is about a junior show. Noah announced that Daisuke Harada will be retiring on
Yeah.
March 9th due to neck injury that could lead to difficulties in his daily life and possible life threatening.
Yeah.
He said so. He made that decision to retire. He's going to have a 1-minute exhibition match with his debut opponent in both Noah and Asaka Pro, his close friend Atsushi Katoge. It was just a really tough press conference to watch. I just wanted to mention this since we were talking about the All Junior show. He got permission from both his family and the medical staff to do the 1-minute exhibition. Noah offered him a coaching spot, but he just opted to leave the company altogether, which he's probably like super hurt. So I understand. So just wanted to mention that before we move on to anything.
I do
else.
hope. I do hope that he recovers well and has a nice remaining part of his life. But yeah, in a complete contrast
Now we
of
gotta talk
mood
about
from
Shio,
that,
man.
yeah, in a complete contrast of mood, we had a big surprise match here.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Basically, like the Junior All-Star Festival's gift to all the Toryumen fans.
Yeah.
Which was,
the best junior in the world,
Shima-
Kazuki Harada, baby.
No joke. No
Shima
joke.
versus Kazuki Hirata, with, of course, Yoshino and, Milano on
When
commentary.
Tokyo Go his, they were ready to leave.
It was glorious.
Harada is so over. Like,
Yeah.
so over. I don't understand how he's not in higher positions than DDT. Like
Yeah.
The-
he's so over. He's so charismatic. He's one of the only legitimately funny wrestlers they have, and he's so good in the ring. I don't know how he's not doing more.
yeah, the problem is that he's a great how do you say the names?
Comedy
He's
wrestler.
yeah, but he's always the butt of the joke,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
You
he
can't
does
really
that
make the butt of
so
a
great.
joke. You can't really
Yeah,
make the
but the
butt of a
thing is,
joke.
when he wins, that's what makes it even better because it's like, how did I lose to Harada?
See, but Xavier, the thing is that Waka's the best act in Stardom, but she can't win the world. I mean, she should, but
Listen,
like it's that
Harada's
type
not
of
in a
deal.
stable with Tam Nakano, so
That's true.
this does not affect him. Okay. um,
Yeah, but he's in the stable with Toru Owashi.
Listen, man,
That's
Owashi's
tough. That's
chilling.
tough.
You leave Toru Owashi alone. He's chilling.
No, I love Owashi.
Of course, it's a
Yeah.
callback to the Magnum Tokyo and Shima
Yeah,
matches
yeah.
of Toryumon Japan.
I think that's
Shima
the.
Shima out here harassing Milano and Yoshino, and they're just like, oh. Milano's the one who just doesn't want to do it. Yoshino's like, bro, shake his hand. He got me a job. He's like, cool. Milano's like, oh, I'm good. So good.
Man, Shima just shows up random places to ruin people's days.
Yeah. Basically. I
Like-
also love Shima because like he just decides when he's gonna be great. He's like, all right, 20 people here and I can phone it in. It's like, this is a little bit more important. I'll do solid. And it's like, all right, I'll be great here. Just show everybody I'm still the man. Also, this Shima's match graphic popped me so hard that it's my display name. Because everybody's got their nicknames over it, and I saw King of Great. I was like, oh my god, this is Carney is so great, man. This is my
Yeah.
guy.
I also love that this was like, I think the second time that like DDT did a crossover with a different promotion specifically to make one of the old Toryumon guys dance to
Tokyo Go.
Tokyo Magnum's
Yeah.
entrance music. Yeah, just like they already did that with Genki, where like they had a Dragon Gate crossover with exclusively Genki just so they could make him dance. So that
Toru Owashi, since he's gotten like power of some sense, he's like, all right, I'm just gonna bring in a bunch of old Toryumon guys and just scar them with this Magnum Tokyo dance. And it's worked wonders. Shima was just like, he was not having it. The fans, I love Harada because Harada does the dance when he comes out, and then he has to do the dance again in the match. And like, if you ruin the dance, although they've already seen the dance, if you ruin it when he tries to do it in the match, they're just ballistic.
And it's also for the people that don't know, Hirata was a Dragon Gate trainee
Mhm.
until he left.
He was in
Then
the
just
same
joined.
class as Katoka, Yohei, and Kishin Chanko, I believe. So
Yeah, it's clear where the talent was in that class.
yeah, there was more
Mr.
people.
Rada.
I just don't remember. It was It was
kidding, I'm
Katoka,
kidding.
but it's fine. It's fine. No, but I'm glad this was here. I'm also glad that Harada's here. Just Harada being in the All Star Junior Festival is just really, really cool. It just made me
Yeah,
smile.
I really love those pictures of
Imanari
Ueno, and
and
yeah, and
yeah.
Imanari is cheering him on from like hidden behind the stands. That was very sweet and laughing the asses off. I really
All
like
right.
that. That's very wholesome.
All right, just because you're over, don't think you're better than me. Eat a meteor, I'm winning. Shima's not
Yeah, he was not having that. But
I love
yeah.
carnies in wrestling, man. Like,
And legit, I don't know. I don't remember when I last had so much fun watching a match.
Yeah, it
I
was
don't know
very
either. I just had a blast. And Shima's so old. Him doing the dance is so funny. He's just so old.
But yeah, a more serious match is, the next one, which is also many people's favorite match of the show, which is the five-way match between Taiji Ishimori, Ninja Mac, Shin Skywalker, Soberano Jr., and Yohei, of course. And of course, I really like this match, and I have a lot to say about what it means in the context of Shinlo. But before that, I think I should probably let you guys talk first.
No, you know what? You know what's actually really funny is the one note I had about this match. Oh, this was a really good match. Well, first of all, Shun and Taiji are another comically evil group, just slightly less comically evil, because they're just dicks. But no,
Yeah.
the one thing about Soberano Jr. is that I was a big New Japan guy in 2018, and
Yeah.
especially a big junior New Japan guy in 2018. So
Still
I
are.
watched every match of every junior tournament that year, which included Soberano Jr.'s first junior tag league
Hmm.
with Volador Jr., where Volador Jr., as you were saying, kind of just
Had the bodies.
yeah, he was not doing anything. It was just Soberano, right? Like he was the only like he was carrying that motherfucker. It was
Legitimately,
great.
he did not care to be there.
Not at all. But one thing that I remember from that, and it sticks with me, and it always points out Soberano very vividly, is that he is one of like a few wrestlers who turns into the ropes with his left side.
Yeah, he turns it the wrong
Yeah.
way.
And I love that. I don't know why, but I'm just like it just like tickles a part of my brain where I was like, ooh, that's different. And it just like I love him for that. I thought he did great in this match as well. But that's
Hmm.
just a
Yeah.
little thing that I remembered. I was like, is this that guy? And then I watched it, I was like, yeah, this is that guy.
Well, let's just know it's him.
I usually don't really enjoy Ninja Mac matches, but I thought he did good here and he fit in with everybody.
So
Well,
you don't want to make a bet? That's crazy.
I don't. um, no, but I love Sabarano Jr. as well as Dylan does too. Sabarano Jr. is one of those guys that anytime he came around New Japan, whenever I was like actively watching, I would always want to see more because he's
Yeah.
just so good. And also, he's a taller junior, so it always is hilarious to see him face somebody like Ishimori, and he's doing these high flying spots because Ishimori's like 2'3", and it's like so fun to see. um, of course, I'm glad Shun's in the spot. Although he's our Dream Gate champion, he probably could have pinned. I forgot who lost. I think it was Yohei.
Yeah, like that's the only reason Yohei was in this match.
Yeah. Well, if you want, the true story,
It could
it's
have been
'cause-
Kotoke.
well, the truth is Noah's stupid because it was supposed to be Junta, and New Japan's website exposed that.
Oh
It was
man,
supposed to be.
that
Junta out? Like, what the fuck happened there?
It was supposed to be Junta, and then they sent
Isn't
him back to
Junta back
Mexico.
in Mexico?
They sent
Yeah.
him back to Mexico after he was the highlight of
Jesus
their division
Christ.
for like months. So that's
Oh
great
man,
company.
and I mean, like Junta had like pre-existing history with like I mean history. Like Shun really liked him. Like he was on Shun's cute list apparently.
Ultimo
Um,
Dragon, if you're listening to this, we got some poaching to do over in Mexico. Bro. I need you to take a trip over that Toy Moncasa, go contract camp a little
yeah,
bit.
like he
Uh,
was he was also like he was already like teaming with the Dragon Gate guys in Mexico. So
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, that's why Yohei is here. New Japan completely outed Noah. They really didn't need to do that because they were talking about Junta. I was like, oh my god, Junta was supposed to be in this match, and they just sent
Oh
him back to
no.
Mexico after making him look stupid. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh.
But yeah, like I said, I would have just Shin could have won because he's like our world champion. But whatever,
Yeah.
Ishimori did it in a way where Shun was the strongest guy
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
end, but he just stole the win. So I mean, it's fine with me.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Ishimori is fucking awesome.
Dude, Ishimori's great. It's just that he's in a company where they don't
Oh,
care
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
junior wrestling, and
But he has
they
just everything. Like the look, the mannerisms, the wrestling it is there too, obviously. And Ishimori is just awesome.
it's
know,
crazy that they have not given him like a long, good multi-defense junior title run. Like his last one, I think he
Haven't
maybe
they?
got like 2
I mean,
defenses. He's had like
Couple.
long runs, but they haven't been like
Good ones.
yeah.
it's
Have
just
some
because
fuck
good
yeah.
book.
he's the bad guy. You know what I mean? I think that's just kind of how the nature of the beast with that. Is like he's always gonna be the third ace. You know, because they have their hero in Hiromu, they have their anti-hero in Despy, and Taiji's just the actual bad guy. Like that's just how it is.
Well, he
Uh,
should be the actual bad guy and just squash everybody in the division. Like
See, but
Ishimori.
I'm good without that. You know what I mean? Like I think Taiji's great. But,
I'm personally fine if he squashes everybody in the division except
but
for Master Wado
you
because
brought
he's
up
the last hope.
you brought up Ultimo, and I was like, why didn't they have him on this card?
Ultimo doesn't like to take bumps, dog. Okay,
I know,
I'm
but
gonna be honest with you.
I was like, no, because legit, I was like, he's still like actively wrestling, isn't he? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Why
but the
isn't he
thing
wrestling?
is, Ultimo picks and chooses when he feels like wrestling, and if they try to schedule him a singles match, he will turn it into a tag match just because he wants to,
That's
and he
based.
doesn't feel like it.
I also think
Yeah.
I also think Nozawa Wrong Guy should have came out of retirement for the show.
He
Personally,
should have. That would have been beast. Oh my god. God, I
The Summer
love.
Guy versus Ultimate Dragon singles match.
Ultimo
Yeah.
just have came
yes,
out
that's
and
it.
renamed some other wrestler again.
We should have ribbed Ultimate Dragon, got Nozawa in there, just have a good time.
Which Taiji, other Ultimo Dragon Gym guy, I forgot about that, and I was like, oh yeah, he was there. He was there for a little bit. He was a Sailor Boy, and they made a storyline out of that in New Japan where Taguchi tried to reform the Sailor Boys with him for some reason.
I will say Taiji Ishimori's best work is consistently against. Who do you guys think I'm gonna say? It's
Good wrestlers that probably are not in New Japan, but no, but
Yo,
good.
hey, what?
Uncle Nobu, bro. Uncle
Oh yeah,
Nobu
yeah,
gets
yeah.
the
No.
best out of him every single time. That's another like combination from that big tag match that I was like, oh, you like even though they're in the same company, you don't really need to, but like I feel like that's just a match you can give out at any time. Maybe not the singles, but just have them interact with each other because they have like this I don't know, this unique uh
Well, it's
chemistry
Ishimori's
they have.
Kanemaru allergy that flares up every time they
Yeah,
run Despot
exactly, and
Super
I
Junior.
love that. I love that he has like just such this immense weakness to this old man who drinks whiskey. Like he just like can't beat him for some
That's
reason.
like every wrestler in Puro, old man that drinks whiskey. So like that's not very specific. uh,
True.
so I know you said Shin wrote in his column about this. So what do you say about this in junior
Yeah,
wrestling
I
specifically?
think he specifically spoke about how the English commentary I think mentioned that a little bit. How Dragon Gate is an open weight company, and he talked about how he specifically went to Dragon Gate instead of a promotion like New Japan. Even though of course he probably could have made it to the heavyweights there or whatever, because he thinks that wrestling is a lot less exciting if it isn't open weight. He thinks that like there's a thrill to people of all sort of sizes, of all sorts of shapes, being able to face each other that you just can't find if you just put the small guys with the small guys and the big guys with the big guys. And I think
Talk
that
your shit, Fish King.
yeah, and like obviously like part of that plays into Shun's character. Like it's a running gag among the Japanese fan base by now that he kind of has a thing for short and cute guys. But I do also think like there's genuinely something to that. Like it is genuinely more interesting to be able to regularly have these sorts of more David versus Goliath matches and have all sorts of styles mix with each other in that way. I really like that. And obviously, he also, in terms of his opponents, of course, in his column, he also, of course, called the Noah people trash. And even though, like he said that Ninja Mac is like, even though he wasn't originally a Noah Junior, he just embodied all the worst aspects of the Noah Junior division. and and he called Severano Jr. tasty, which I think like manifested in the match by putting his hand into his mouth.
Shit is so funny. Shit is so funny. Oh my god. No, but I agree with what he said about I mean, I do understand because it's just the age old ideology of juniors and heavyweights, and just the idea in the bigger companies that were founded on these traditions that the bigger guys can't like mix with the smaller guys. Uh, I understand why it's still that, and I don't have a problem with it necessarily, but I do agree with him that it's much more interesting when both sides mix. You
I
see why
always
where I usually have a problem is when you have open weight championships. Listen, okay, I'm not pointing any fingers at any specific company here, but when you have open weight championships and it's just heavyweights fighting for it the entirety of like 3 years until there's a worldwide pandemic and you have to do it, Mr. Gato.
What do you mean? It's a championship for the young guys.
see,
Mm.
my
No, I'm
thing
talking about the
is
never open weight title.
Yeah.
my
It's
That
been
my
was
an
thing
open weight title
originally.
for like 15 years or whatever, and
this
it
is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
just
yeah.
doesn't
this is
happen.
big fantasy brooking brain here, but I think that what would be interesting is having like DDT where they have the open weight championship, which is just in name, but that's their main championship. Uh, and then having divisional championships be underneath that would be way
Yeah.
more interesting to me. Like
Realistically, in hindsight, the never weight title should be the world title in New
yeah,
Japan
like
because
that's what I
literally
mean. It's
that
like
or the TV title because literally, well, not really TV title because you have a
The
time
TV
limit on it.
title, like 15-minute time limits,
Yeah.
would.
So like the open weight
I
title
love
should
that.
be like the world
Just
title because anybody can fight for it. How are you going to be the
like
strongest in the company
yeah,
if you're
that's
not
what I mean.
truly the strongest amongst all the divisions?
I mean, they have this
Like
one match a
and
year
this
where
is getting a
it's
bit.
heavyweight versus junior champion.
And they bury the junior champion.
Yeah.
So
Yes, every single
and
year.
it's usually Okada doing it. Money clips out,
But
baby. You already know.
it's true. But no, like the way I see it is like there should be like a championship for the big boys. You know what I mean? Like a for like what is it? Like a strong arm championship. I know someone has a strong arm championship or whatever it's called, where it's just like for like the big hosses
That's
and
just
like
one of
the
the catch the
heavyweights.
wave blocks.
Oh, okay. I got wave on the mind. My bad. But
That's fine.
like have like one for like the heavyweights, one for the junior heavyweights, and then have one. And if it's a if it has women in the company too, this is getting a bit really abstract here. If it has women in the company too, have the women's division and have the open weight championship be intergender, interways
Yeah,
class
yeah.
for everything.
I'd be
I
for
think that
that.
would be like the
Well,
perfect like if I were running a Puro promotion, that would
mhm.
be my fucking perfect world.
Well,
I
if
would love
nobody
that.
wants to,
DDT,
if
DDT.
yeah, except for DDT misses the boat on this stuff. That's why Saki Akai hasn't held a singles title, and
Yeah,
Maya
yeah.
Yuki just hasn't been used since her Saki Akai feud. God Pro is probably the best example since Monte challenged for the world title,
Oh
and
yeah.
realistically almost
Yeah.
won. So like, they're probably the best example. But I mean, if nobody else wants to do this, Lek, I will drop you my email. You can send me some money. I got this big Takashi Sugiura versus Rina Amakura match I'm trying to run. You can fund
Oh,
it.
dude.
You can fund it, and we'll make a title, and we'll be rocking. We'll run Shinjuku Face every week. It's fine.
That sounds hot. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
So
in
thank you for making our world champion lose here in New Japan. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, at least
What
you
you know
yeah.
didn't
about
need
the
to
bone
fall.
soldier though? What you know about the bone soldier though?
I know
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
is
I was actually
the third
Yeah.
most over guy in the New Japan Junior division. I know that.
I was reminded about Captain New Japan.
Shout out Captain New
Fucking New
Japan.
Japan.
Yeah.
Oh
We got to
god.
get him back. He's
Yeah,
got to
we
beat
need
Okada.
you know
He's got to beat
what
Okada
we
this year.
need is he changed into Bone Soldier and then they rebooted Bone Soldier. We need a reboot of Captain New Japan. I think it should be the main eventer, Master Wado.
Oh no.
No. Listen, Wado is the last hope for this junior division. You put him in Captain New Japan, get up, and this division's dying. It's over. Like we might as well just
This
end this
I mean,
company.
Watto was doomed when they called him Master.
Yeah,
And
in
then said that his
hindsight,
entire gimmick is trying to be the Grandmaster.
Oh.
and then he just started selling
I
cat
love
shirts and
Wado
was like,
though.
well, I'll just
Yeah,
start
he's
doing cool. He was
This
like, I'll
would
just start doing cool moves and we'll figure out the rest later.
the unfortunate thing is this would be a really great time to segue into the main event. But I
No,
also
we
want
can
to talk
segue.
about Shotsumo. No, what I really liked in terms of
Yeah.
character work, since that's my main thing also, and also Shun's main thing, is that even though Ishimori betrayed Shun, like afterwards he had a smile on his face and he professed his respect to Ishimori in the backstage comments, and he talked about him being a good wrestler and
He
respected him.
also
And
he
that's
also praised Sabrano Jr. He just
yeah,
said the Noah
yeah,
Juniors
yeah,
are
yeah,
trash.
yeah, yeah.
Rest in peace,
But yeah,
Noah.
but yeah, the part that I found interesting, I felt sort of reminded, because it's also, it's March again. It reminded me of sort of, because that was also my first Dragon Gate storyline, the Jason storyline, where after, he got done screaming and crying about Jason turning on him, he actually had some respect for him, for Jason actually having the guts to sort of turn on him. And I think they're similar with what he felt towards Hiromu in this match, and I think that's really interesting in terms of character.
That's such a baller character arc. I dare you to turn on me. I bet you won't do it. If he was in NXT, he'd be getting turned on every week. It'd be crazy.
It's funny
If
'cause
he
I
was
feel
in
like
the
that,
Noah Junior division.
Oh, yeah.
in hindsight, that was like Minoru Suzuki's entire bit. Is that it's like the reason why Suzuki-gun hasn't changed in 10 years, it's because these motherfuckers are scared to betray me, bro. That ain't happening. I need to close this shit down myself.
When in reality, nobody else wants to be in a faction with him. So, so they're just like, all right, we'll hang out with Suzuki. Cool.
Well, okay. Now that I've gotten that off my chest, we already talked a
Suzuki,
lot about. Oh yeah,
Suzuki is
go
actually
on.
a good segue since he's working All Japan these days to the main
That's true.
event. So,
Yeah, yeah,
The
true.
cross between New Japan and All Japan.
hmm
Yep.
Naruki Doi there.
I mean, Naruki Doi is also like he's more like in the middle of a No, actually, like the middle. Is he in the middle of a triangle? Yeah, between DDT, Dragon Gate, and All Japan.
he's doing everything. Doy's insane. So this
That's what
main
he.
event was. I'm glad it happened, but it's very weird how they did this match. So
It was off-brand.
it was Master Wato versus Atsuki Aogi in a New Japan versus All Japan match, and they completely sabotaged them from the beginning because they turned it completely into All Japan versus New Japan. Let's get serious and try to strike each other. Let's be Okada and Kaito light and just try to be aggressive. When Wato and Asuki are still both very young in their careers and they're not at that level yet to where they can successfully play an aggressor heel role and take this serious match, they honestly would have been better off just having a wrestling match and just letting them cook, because when they started to wrestle and stay true to themselves, the match got good and then ended abruptly.
Yeah, I think this suffered from being in that main event slot because, like, this could have been like you said,
I
right? It
no,
was
I
like,
think it would. I think it was the right choice to be the main event because they're both guys who are going to be leading their respective junior
well, no, I
divisions for the
like
next 10 to
in
15
terms of
years. But it's just
promotional wise, it's smart, but in terms of flow wise, I think what we
they
could have, like you
sabotaged it.
said, like you said, it was like a Kaito versus Okada light when
hmm
I think it could have had a same vibe or had like lived up to that to the level of Amakusa versus Hiromu instead. Like
It
if they
would have
had
been
gone
better
more
if
of
they
that,
took the approach of I'm going to beat you and rise to the top of the
yeah,
juniors in
exactly.
Japan first, and just just had a straight good wrestling match because they could definitely do way better than this.
Yeah.
I've got faith in both of them. They could have did way better than this, but I mean, like I said, once they started to actually get into the flow of things before the match abruptly ended, they were doing really really good stuff, and the crowd was eating it up. So that's what makes me like so sad that they just went the route of like, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's be aggressive and let's do these forms and let's like, all right, bro, I get it. You saw the whole Okada versus Kaito feud. I get
Yeah.
it.
To their credit, like this was passable, and at
Um,
least it ended uh, at the highest point of this match.
Yeah.
But all in all, this just made me miss Hirai Kawa too, like the young boy.
hmm
I
They should stop making him try to be a grandmaster and just letting
Yeah.
him have the story arc of just trying to get to the top of the New Japan Juniors. That's like that's like such more fitting and way easier to do. Like like being the grandmaster is such a weird storyline arc. What does that even mean? I think they're
There
just
no,
Gato
that's
was
isn't
just
really a story there.
the
dude.
world just shut down and Gato got bored and was like, "Yep, grandmaster."
Dude's story is actually that he's never hit his finish. That's his actual story,
Yeah, he
which is
just
still
can't hit the.
crazy.
He hit the RPP like once on Doki, and he's like
Wait, did
never
he?
hit it again.
He
Yes,
hit it? Wait, then
he,
what the fuck are we here for, dude? What the? I thought that was like the point was that he's never hit it
no,
before, but he keeps
he's
going
hit.
for it.
He's hit the RPP like multiple times, but it hasn't been like since his
Damn,
first year. So like he just
that's
doesn't hit it anymore.
dumb.
I mean,
When he
it's
first
like,
when
yeah,
he
it's just
first started working with Tenzon, he hit it because he hit the Tenston Tombstone driver into the RPP. That was his like finishing setup before he started using the Risitamente as his main finish.
Yeah, I mean, like I mainly watch a promotion that has like currently two young wrestlers whose gimmicks are a soccer player, like for a guy who does not has no soccer background, and a Korakuen staff employee.
He was
Um,
actually a Korakuen staff employee though.
Yeah, let's go.
yeah, like and I don't know
I
what
don't
Wato's gimmick is.
I don't know what Watto if Watto's ever been a grandmaster in his past life, so that's the thing. um
I will
no, but
say, I
go ahead.
haven't. Sorry, I haven't seen Aoyagi before. I thought he was really good. Like I was interested in him
It
I
was
was like,
really
oh,
good.
he seems like he can be something.
He's really good, and he was on an awesome run in All Japan
Mhm.
on well until Naruki Doi came, but he was on this great run where he defeated all
Legends.
these legends in really good matches.
It really
Let me
it's
just
crazy
put
because like his run, it started off really hot with the Rising Hayato match, and
yeah.
then it like kind of was weird for a little bit until the Kotaro Suzuki match, just because
I
Atsuki's
wouldn't
so
even say
young.
it was weird.
It
The
was
Rising
because like
Hayato was good. The
well,
Minoru match was yeah.
the
It was
thing is
Voodoo
the
Murders
thing
Minoru
is
Tanaka.
Atsuki's so young where he just couldn't be this babyface in peril as these veterans were working him over until he got to the Kotaro Suzuki match. He just couldn't
Ah,
do it.
but the Hikaru Sato in between match in between was so good.
Well, that's because Hikaru Sato could have a good match with a broom, but like
Yeah, of course, but still, and the Kazuyashi match was good. The Kotaro match was awesome. And truthfully, I haven't seen the Naruki Doi one.
that one was good. Like I said, I think his best stuff was the opener and then with Hayato and then the last two matches because I just thought he struggled so hard to be a good baby face. He just couldn't. He just doesn't have the facial expressions yet to be a great baby face in peril, which he's young, so it's fine. It just was prevalent, and plus it's his first junior run. He's gonna have like 9 more of these, so. But I'm glad him and Watto got the main event because it's really special that they got to main event this all junior festival, especially with some of the names on the card. It's really telling how highly not only their companies think of them, but how highly Hiromu thinks of both of them if they got the main event. Um, Also, like Watto closing the show, it's nice. Also, Watto, when they closed the show, Sabrano Jr. put him on his shoulders, which was a direct callback to when Hiraka Watto went on excursion to CMLL and his final show, Sabrano Jr., when he announced that he was going to CMLL, raised him up on his shoulders. So it was a callback to that, which is nice. And then I like the ending part where they got all gathered in the ring because there's just so much chaos going on. Like Shima was over there reuniting with Yamato and Shima, El Lindemann and Ram Kaichao tried to see who was the shortest. Atsuki Aoyagi just laid in front of everybody dead. And like
Yeah.
it really was a fitting end because, like I said, the crowd got super, super hot once they hit that high point in the match before it abruptly ended. So it really ended on a high note. It was just like so
Mhm.
special. um Before we like talk about like what we think could have been better and all that, like overall thought this was a fantastic show that exceeded its expectations because I wasn't that excited once the card was announced and they just exceeded my
Yep.
expectations. Also, Rocky Romero said that Hiromu should bring the junior festival to the US, so it's
Yeah.
just going to be a bunch of New Japan guys, GCW guys, and like Sammy Guevara, so it's like whatever, man.
Yeah, that sounds tough
But
actually. Because like I'm thinking about it,
but
it's like, oh man, that sounds
that's
bad.
exactly what it's gonna be. But yeah, I'll let y'all take over before we talk about like what we think could have been better, what they could have done, and maybe even hopes for the next one they do in Japan. Because I really don't want to think about the American one.
And I like the card going in,
Mhm. No,
but they over delivered on it. Like
yeah,
this show, all in all, was such a
Yep.
feel good time that I have to consider it one of the better shows that I've seen this year.
I agree. It also probably helps that they sold out almost immediately, so
Oh
like
yeah,
everybody was super excited.
Absolutely. It was definitely, I think, a fun show. Like, I didn't expect much, right? Like, I was pretty much expected from the announcement that there was just going to be a lot of tag team matches. But I had a lot of fun with it. I liked it. And I definitely hope they'll be doing more. And of course, with that, also very significant, like, I mean, at least symbolic handshake moment between, Dragon Kid and Yamato, Dragon Kid and Shima with Yamato watching. And, that sort of, I hope definitely that also, there might maybe someday also be some other crossover shows that might be happening someday in a million years. But
Yeah, I mean, I really like that we're kind of in at this point in Puro where it's very crossover heavy, and it's
yeah.
like very open about that sort of thing. I'm
mm.
enjoying it a lot. Obviously, I think anything like the show could have been better, but I thought that it got a lot of the stuff that I wanted to see out of it, and it I think it highlighted junior wrestling pretty well, regardless, right? Uh,
Hmm.
the the entire vibe was what it needed to be, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I could have asked for some people that I liked more in more higher spots, or like in more like pronounced spots, but I thought overall it was a really good show. I'm excited for the next one. Um, the reason why I say that the United States one sounds so bad is because I feel like it would be like I feel like it would make me
Because you
upset
know how
because
I just
I
described
personally
it
was
to
like,
you is
"Oh,
gonna be it.
that yes." But I was thinking about it. I was like, "Man, it would be dope if," and this is always my go-to junior, even though he's, you know, like I would love to see Ricky Starks on one of these shows. Like just him.
Hmm.
I don't need any other American on this show, but
Well, we
just a
got
Ricky
this.
Starks
We
video.
got
Like that would
Ricky
be fun.
Starks one man show.
But I know, yeah, yeah,
well, we
just Ricky
got
Starks, nobody else. No,
well, we
but like there are like certain smaller dudes in America that like I think would have been fun if they were on the show, but like doing the show based around Americans sounds bad. So I hope they
Yeah.
don't do that, and they just
oh,
have another one of these. They should have a summer festival, make it a seasonal thing. I don't know.
Yeah. The difference to from this to the American show is that on the American show I wouldn't care if New Japan just won all the matches.
yeah, because like in hindsight, it's really just going to be New Japan wrestlers from Japan going there because they're not paying for all these flights. uh, so I mean, if they feel the need to run, like, I don't know, Blake Christian versus whoever, that's on them. I probably won't watch, but that's cool. um,
Oh
but
god.
yeah, I do think it laid the foreground for possibly having more in the future, which
Hmm.
is going to be good. I like Corkin being the set venue for these things just because I think it's a perfect crowd for it.
Absolutely.
Um, I don't think they should aim for bigger venues. Like if they want to eventually do like a true super junior card where it's like, oh, we got all these big title matches and a promotional singles matches, then you can aim for something higher. But for now, I think Corrigan is the perfect set venue if they keep doing these. As far as this card goes, I knew since it was the first one, they were just probably trying to get a lot of the big names from the companies out of the way to open up room for the people that didn't make it next time they do them. Because I'm gonna be honest, dog, I could do without a lot of these people that made the cut, and I was just like, I was so confused that like New Japan got like, well, at first, I mean, I'm not really confused because I know why, but like New Japan got like 9 junior picks, and like Dragon Gate, the notorious company that's junior heavyweights, got like 3, and one
Yeah.
of them was last minute, and he threatened to boycott because he thought it was stupid. So, um, but I mean, for what they had on this, like the wrestlers they did have, like I said, they probably could have did the card a little bit better. I understood that they had to do primarily tags, but they could have done some dope single stuff, man. They missed the boat. They could have had some really fun single stuff.
Oh well, yeah, that's I think also partially just kind of the crux with these sort of interpromotional matches, right? Because like with the whole booking politics, doing tag matches is just easier, and that's why I think most people go for it. But yeah, like it would definitely have been great to have more singles matches, and obviously to have more Dragon Gate guys on. Like fucking Dragon Dyer wasn't on this show. That's a crime, but.
Not only that, but it really neglected freelancers as well. Because
Yes.
Yeah,
realistically, both Doi and Kotaro Suzuki should have been on the show.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
When you talk about junior greatness, you got to talk about Kotaro and Doi, and they weren't on the show. Um,
I think they could have done with like established tag teams, because like that's kind of what I'm also thinking is like,
yeah,
well,
they could have.
you know, like
They were like
you could
thrown
have
together.
gotten, yeah, and that's cool. Like I get that it's like
Well,
supposed to be
if
like this
they
big
have a
mismatch
history
show,
of
and
teaming
that's
with
cool
each
for that.
other, like Doki and Hanaoka, I don't mind it. Like if they have a
Oh, I
history
thought
of
that worked
teaming
great.
together.
Yeah, I mean that was like one of my favorite parts of this entire show was their tag work and like
Hmm.
how they meshed. But like, and it's a shame because like the current New Japan tag champs are both foreigners, so like they aren't really a great example. But like I wish Titan was there. Him and Bushi could have done some incredible stuff as a tag. I think they're one of
Hmm.
my
Bushi and
favorite junior
Hiromu are
tags.
like a tag team for like
Yeah, I
5
mean,
years. They could have.
yeah, and again, like I'm cool with how they are, with how they
Mhm.
did stuff, and it's rare to get to see the Tokyo Tornadoes together, and there's
Mhm.
stuff like that that's really dope. But I think
Ooh, ooh.
they definitely could have done with some established tag team versus an established tag team, and make it like you don't need to give away a big singles, but you can
Mhm.
give away a big
W-
tag team match. I think that's kind of what I'm looking at it as.
Hmm.
with that idea out there, I have a suggestion. They could just do next one instead of like doing something like this. They could do a like tag tournament
See,
and
I would
have
be cool
people
with that.
enter.
Like,
Like
yeah,
even if
Yeah.
they wanted to go the route of mixing up partners from like other companies, they could have them form their own teams with whoever they want and then go into it so they can like team with their friends and shit.
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
fun. Definitely also, open for more sort of character work and more storytelling work from the wrestlers, which I'm always here for. If you have them be together with the people that actually have history with. Like we mentioned before, for instance, like even if you don't put people with history together, it is kind of funny that like Bushi did so much work building like to a partnership with Shun, and like they both posted these like mysterious pictures of them together playing darts, right? And it's just like, and they're just not in the same match.
On
Dog,
the other hand,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Oh, on the other hand, I think it would also be funny if it was all um, just thrown together randomly, like randomized the card
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
like
to the follow.
straight
Yeah,
mixed
that could also be
vertex. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's what they should have did. They should combine the ideas, do a tag
Yeah, they should
tournament, but
they
do it.
should do they should do
Do
Doi
it all the
darts,
way
but
around.
for the entire event.
No, I you see, I don't want that. See, I don't want that because that like gives it away. I want them to do like Mystery Vortex, like tag tournament shuffle
That
type
would also
deal,
be fun,
where it's
yeah.
like you find out who your partner is when the music hits, and that's how it is.
Oh god. Okay. Think like, is that all we have to say about the show? Do we have any closing remarks?
Uh,
go watch Gunpro.
yeah, go watch Gone Pro.
Also Dragon Gate.
New Japan, stop being political
Should
monsters.
win the world championship, the world heavyweight championship, and
Who?
remain a junior, and do it before
Who?
Hiromu El Desperado.
Who should? Oh, that him? No, no.
I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
I'd be cool with that.
I mean, yeah, sure. I agree with Yoshinobu Kanemaru as well.
That's it. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
I
Honestly,
guess I'll plug.
I think.
Mhm.
Sorry. One last thing is, I was thinking about when we were talking about like all this fancy ideas of like how to incorporate interpromotional juniors.
Mhm.
I wish, and I get that it's not possible because New Japan, like that isn't how it works. I would love it if the best of the Super Juniors was actually like an all-star tournament
They
that
used
you
to do it
that
like
like
that, but
that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like get a Shun Skywalker in there, even though that it's politics nightmares, obviously. But
Yeah.
get a Shun Skywalker in there, get a Yuki Ueno in there, get Mystico in there, get everybody in there, and obviously that means you gotta take some of the New Japan guys out. But still, I mean, if it's
nah, that's fine. There's like five
what
people in the
if
division.
it's a
Ugh.
26 person tournament and you do 12 New Japan guys and 14 non New Japan guys, that's perfectly fine. Like the junior division is not that loaded. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I would
No.
love looking forward in junior wrestling, is to have an actual best of the juniors, best of the super
Yeah,
juniors.
I
With
think,
some
like I said,
multi promotion stuff.
that being said, I think there's more work to be done for juniors to truly get what they're looking for as far as equal footing with the heavyweights. So something like that would help. Uh,
100%.
I guess I'll plug my stuff again. Once again, go to the site and check out the best of Black Wrestling. Check out the Goat Case of Aja Kong and keep an eye out on that series because we got some ideas and we got like at least three people are probably going to be on this series like 95 times. So uh, keep an eye out for that and everything.
Yeah,
We
bring
got
ACH back. That's the other one. That's the other way to save junior
well, hope
wrestling.
hope ACH is doing well. I know for a while he wasn't, so
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah,
he's doing well. Don't worry, we got a lot of pieces on him eventually. Who
yeah.
knows? Who knows? We might do a whole big podcast on ACH just because he's probably the best one, like the best indie wrestler of our
That'd be fun.
generation, in my opinion. Uh, I know it's unpopular, but that's just how it is.
He also
But
danced with
Oh, he's
Naito.
exactly. Um,
That was so dope, man. Oh man, that's one of my favorite memories. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite memories in my introduction to New Japan was ACH and Naito. I was like, dude,
Yeah,
I love this
let's
so
go.
much.
And then also check out my beginner's guide to Gone Pro on the site as well. That's really all I got to plug. I already plugged the podcast and all that.
I'll do my plugs now since why not. If you hate my opinions on Puro that you hear on Summit, you'll hate my opinions on Joshi even more. And
Oh
that
yeah,
you can
you
listen
will.
to every single week on Stardom Quest, which is on the Five Star Network, obviously. So yeah, go listen to that. Go read my stuff. I will be contributing to the Best of Black Wrestling series in due time. I just didn't get to because I was traveling. So I'm finishing it tomorrow night, and that's the plan. So yeah, go check out all of our stuff. Follow me on Twitter at XXGPN for even more bad opinions on even more things than just that type of wrestling. It's great. You'll love it. Trust me.
Yeah,
And
and I'll just plug the podcast again. Um, we will record tomorrow, so you'll have a new episode shortly on of the Dramatic Dream Dragons, your best podcast on Dragon Gate and DDT. I mean, best, whatever, but you know.
Wonderful. In addition to, of course, Dramatic Green Dragons and Stardom Quest, Five Star Network also has the podcast, the All Elite Cast, which of course will be undergoing some restructuring shortly, but it's an AEW podcast. Obviously, we have Watch TJPW, where you can watch along the Tokyo Joshi Pro shows with some of our writers, podcasters. And newly released, we also have Pro Gems, which looks at more, yeah, underrated, so to speak, parts of Japanese pro wrestling. I think you'll definitely find something that you'll like. For me personally, you can see my work in pretty much half of, I mean, 1/3 of the released articles on the Five Star Network website. Please, check everything out. The contributors work really hard, and I work really hard on helping the articles shine. And I also recently read an article on Takuma Fujiwara, who, speaking of juniors, I think will be absolutely, if he manages to stay, healthy, a future legend of the junior heavyweight scene. Or, I mean, Dragon Gate doesn't have a junior division, but and yeah, that's, I think, it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. And yeah, check out the site if you want to. And yeah, have a nice day. I hope I did a decent job on that
Arrivederci.
one. Yeah. Johnny.
Bye bye.
Very good.
Bye
We speak
bye.
languages. We speak languages.
Auf Wiedersehen.